Man, don't you love to see that? Puts a big smile on my face. Are the Leafs cursed? Are they the biggest victims of the flat cap? Leafs fans think so. Hey, everybody, I'm Rick.
And therefore, the curse starts to have life.
Even professional athletes could have this rumbling around in their brain somewhere.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Talking Habs.
I mean, imagine you're a player on a team that feels that they're cursed.
Where you get your daily fix.
They start feeling things aren't going the way they should be. It could actually make the players not play as well as they otherwise might.
Bleu Blanc Rouge. Are the Leafs cursed? Are they the biggest victims of the flat cap era? If they are, they're both cursed by and victims of their own arrogance and desperation to win. They're victims of and cursed by Harold Ballard and the Leafs fans' own acceptance of mediocrity for so long that they've forgotten how to be winners, how to be champions. I did a segment in the last Habs Bites about an article claiming the Leafs are the biggest victims of the flat cap era. So I've sped it up for you here to match the comic value of the article. Have a look, and I hope it makes you laugh as much as it made me laugh. And if it did, give a thumbs up and leave me a comment.
Now, I'm at the last story. It's going to take a few minutes. It's written by a completely delusional writer, also on the hockey writers. I like the hockey writers. I don't like this guy's writing. Who writes about Columbus Blue Jackets mostly, but is obviously a total Leafs apologist. It's called, you'll know from this, Maple Leafs Victimized Most by a Flat Cap World. And here is, and I wrote it down here so I like the group of overlays. Leafs as victims, LOL, because it's kind of funny. Maple Leafs Victimized Most by Flat Cap World by Mark Scheig. When the pandemic struck the NHL, I'm going to read this all to you. We knew that there would be lasting ramifications felt by everyone. But now, in looking back, no team has felt those ramifications more than from a flat cap standpoint than the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm about to cry. What was once thought to be a good plan fell on hard times. While the Maple Leafs plan could still work eventually, we now have a partial explanation as to why things haven't worked out yet. Really, there are the things the Maple Leafs could control, but then there are the things out of their control. When both parties go south at the same time, it leads to disaster, and it's called risk. It's called risk. Take the risk. And you take a risk. Anyway, we'll get more into that. Ugly flat cap. Every NHL team is impacted by the flat cap. Of course they are. When the pandemic happened, everyone took a financial hit. This led to the having to go with a flat cap since the end of the 2019-20 season. It's important to understand just how impactful the flat cap has been. While this has impacted everyone to varying degrees, it's fair to say it has impacted the Maple Leafs the most. Bullshit. While they couldn't control the conditions of the world, they still made a decision on several contracts in short order. Let's take a look at when the Maple Leafs Core 4 signed, and then let's look at the cap hit and percentage of that time. At that time of signing, you'll see management made a basic assumption when signing these deals. They took a risk and they lost. Austin Matthews signed a 5-year deal on February 5th, 2019. The AAV was adjusted to 11.64. At this time, this accounted for 14.64 of the 79.5 million upper limit. Tavares signed a 7-year deal on July 1st, 2018. $11 million AAV. At the time, this accounted for 13.84 of the percent of the 79.5 upper limit. Mitch Marner signed a 6-year deal on September 13, 2019. The AAV was adjusted to 10.9. At the time, this accounted for 13.38 of the 79.5 million upper limit. William Nylander, Willie Stiles signed a 6-year deal on December 1st, 2018. Was it 2018? I think 2019. The AAV after the first season was 6.9. At the time, this accounted for 8.76% of the cap. The Maple Leafs had a unique opportunity to lock in key offensive players for several years. While it was risky, key word here, risky decision, they made these signings with future cap growth in mind. I don't care what was in mind. It was risky. Except for one thing. Thanks to the pandemic and the flat cap, that growth didn't happen as expected. To understand the impact of the flat cap, one just needs to look at the last 10 seasons of cap data. In 2013-14, season salary cap was $64.3 million. And every season since it is, I don't know what he said. The cap grew. Sorry, my reading was bad there. In some seasons when the option of the full escalator was taken, the cap experienced significant growth. Look at what the cap figures were over that time. You see it goes from 64.3 up to the current 82.5. In some and small increases, some and bigger ones. It goes up. Sure, we know, everyone knows that. We are finally starting to see some signs of normalcy. For the first time in 3 seasons, there will be an increase in the cap. Yeah, 1 million. It's not much different than, it's not much. As we continue to return to normal and revenues start to catch up, we'll start seeing cap numbers increase at a more rapid rate. Like, this is like cap, I don't know, 101. So back to the Maple Leafs now. Look at the dates that the Core 4 signed on. All 4 happened between July 18 and September 2019. That's just 14 months. The pandemic stopped the NHL season in March 2020, or just 6 months after Marner's contract was signed. Maple Leafs invested over 50% in their cap at the time into 4 players, and that was freaking stupid. You forgot to write that. It was a bold strategy, to say the least. Bold, yeah, that's the way to put it, I guess. But at least Kyle Dubas and management expected the cap to continue to climb at the rate it was going at. There was no reason to think it would just stop, except it did. That's where the issue really started to spiral out of control. When you're a cap team, you carry more risk. Injuries happen. Things that stop revenue happen. Because the Maple Leafs were trying to plan ahead and it didn't work out as expected, they found themselves in a huge bind, having to adjust on the fly to an unplanned situation. I still don't see where they're a victim. I'm waiting. The extra cap room the Maple Leafs thought would be there was now gone. You wonder why they had to sign players at minimum over this time, because they're idiots. Part of it is the flat cap. Instead of having $6 million or more extra to spend, they had to operate out of the same budget. Duh. As a result, good players they could have kept moved on. Nazem Kadri comes to mind. Zach Hyman comes to mind. Ilya Mikheyev and Jack Campbell fall into this category as well. Like other teams, that hasn't happened to other teams. The goaltending that has been an ongoing issue of late could have potentially been solved had the cap grown at the expected rate. But alas, the Maple Leafs had to make a retained salary trade to land Matt Murray that saved them $400,000. Had there been a few extra million available, we could be talking about a Campbell extension. No, this is a lie. This is a flat-out lie. They're paying 4.6 something for Murray. Jack Campbell signed for $5 million. It's not much of a difference. This is a lie. Given the less than ideal circumstances, the Maple Leafs have been trying to walk the tightrope in keeping cap compliant. They had to gamble on some contracts. They had to pass on other opportunities because they couldn't afford it. I mean, they just couldn't sign the right kind of players. They made bad decisions. The Murray trade is a risky gamble and another bad decision. In the Maple Leafs site, they felt it was the best situation to try to pursue, knowing that their cap space was limited. To save $350,000, I think I'd rather have Jack Campbell with that extra $350,000. Their season will depend on how this ends up. It didn't have to be this way. No, it didn't. We could have not had COVID. While it is unfair to pin all of the blame on the Maple Leafs, especially due to the pandemic, it is more than fair to question whether they should have laid more than half their cap on 4 offensive players. Like he's getting it, and then he doesn't. Had they decided to go in a different direction, they would have been more prepared for the unexpected shutdown. Since then, the Maple Leafs have been chasing answers in the offseason. Like maybe fire your GM and president, and you might have new answers. They're doing what they can to make good decisions given their circumstances. Okay, yeah, Matt Murray, that was a good decision. While some decisions have been good, other ones have not. Right. Maple Leafs have 2 shots at this left under Matthews' current contract till he bolts for the States. They must make it work. Otherwise, by the time the cap starts returning to normal growth levels, we might see a much different looking team on the ice. Yeah, a rebuilding team. If the Maple Leafs can't get out of the first round again, they won't, because they won't get into the first round this year. Change will happen. This change will have happened in part due to their own decision making. Right, you're getting it, and in part due to what the flat cap world caused. I mean, that's kind of right, but not that it paints them as victims. The Maple Leafs plan depended on a normal rising cap. So did everybody else's bloody plan. That's why there is no question they've been the biggest victim of the flat cap world. I question it. Absolutely, I do. So, it's delusional, and yeah, it's just delusional. The only Leafs victims are the Leafs fans. They're the only victims. If you take a huge risk and it doesn't work out for any reason, you're not a victim of anything but your own bad decisions. So that should have been, the Leafs are the biggest victim of their own bad decisions. Yes. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. And hey, check out that video up there in the corner. I know I'm forgetting something. Yeah, bye, everybody. See you next video. Ciao.